Cool. Anybody want to? You are fine to grab your shit, Sterling, that you talked about. Vimrak, you were done doing anything you wanted to do before you went to bed, right?
Yeah, correct.
I know you were talking to horses and shit. Cool. So the party is still going on. It's around 1 in the afternoon. You guys are going to sleep for 6 hours, those that have to. And then you're going to wake up around 7. Does all that sound fine? And then you just kind of have to hang out and camp for the next hour or two to get that full rest. So, cool. You guys kind of wake up to the party still going. There's been a couple new faces here and there. If you take a look around, there's still plenty of food, plenty of drink, and it's obviously darker now. But in terms of any kind of slowdown, the Vasanti seem to know how to party. So yeah, you guys are free to do as you'd like.
I'd like to check on Arena and see if she's still drinking or passed out or what.
She's still passed out. She's in the same spot and she has not moved.
Okay.
That the story that the guy told about the wizard.
Was
I the only one that heard it?
Or you would have been the only one that heard it, yes.
And do I recall where he said the wizard's body? What river it was going down?
Let me see. I will post it in the D&D Eve. Search. It doesn't say specifically, but it's a river. It seems he was cast from Ravenloft, I believe. So somewhere around Ravenloft itself.
And we can see Ravenloft, right? Like, it's just kind of up there.
You should be able to. Let me see. It's right here.
Iblis?
There's no river next to it. Let me see. Hold on, let me read this again.
The river Iblis had already spirited him away.
Oh, an Eblis? Aha. Those are fun.
Oh, it's River Iblis, like a different
Oh, Ivlis.
River Styx.
Oh no, it's a different spot. Let me... No, he is a unique location. It's not going to be near Ravenloft. But it is off of a river. Yes.
Off a river, somewhere in this gigantic place.
Yes.
Not the River Iblis? That's where he said it was.
I did?
That's where he said it was, if you look in the text, the last line. I don't know if that's a place or not.
Pigeon away. Let me see. Luna. Checking river names. I'm going to retcon it a bit, because this was written by someone and I never checked the river. The river that you're on right now is the River Iblis, but I don't know what the fuck that guy's talking about whenever he wrote this. So...
It was right next to us.
Yes, but that doesn't make any sense. So, I will say you can ask about the wizard. He's potentially a well-known folklore person, and remember, it's folklore, so we'll just chalk it up to maybe that's what the Vasanti had heard, or that's what he quote-unquote had done. So feel free to ask more questions and things, but I'm going to retcon the name out of there, because I don't want to run with that.
Okay,
As much
well,
as I already have to change for you, Observer, because you played half this campaign, you can fuck
Half,
off with your wizard names.
I
Wow.
wouldn't say half.
Wow. Just,
Um,
just hostility.
I'm gonna go ahead and, come back to life.
This is a safe
And,
space.
approach him.
Jesus Christ. Sorry.
so his name was like Pavel, I think, and he's intoxicated at this point, but he's still holding himself up and functioning quite well. Let's say you ask him, because he was the one you guys have communicated with the most, and just bring up the wizard. He'll say, "Oh yes, the one of the many stories you'll hear here," and he's like hiccuping as he's talking. He's definitely had some fun this afternoon. He goes, "There's quite a lot of places people have seen him, but if you ask me, if you really want to find him, look north of the lake.
Which lake?
The big one near Valaki. But be warned, if you were to find him, I can only imagine the state of mind he'd be in."
You think he's still alive?
I've heard both things. I've heard that someone found his tomb and absorbed his power, and I've heard that the original wizard from the tale still lives today. If you ask me, I think it's nothing.
And did you hear these stories, or did you actually, who did you hear these stories from, or have you actually done the searching for his body yourself?
Oh, I've never searched myself, but those that tell the story tend to say that they looked, and maybe they did, maybe they don't. Us Vasanti do travel quite often and frequently around these lands with a bit more freedom than others, so it's definitely possible. I've never made it any kind of priority myself.
It's only the Byzanti that tell these kinds of stories?
No, but it's only the Vasanti that travels freely as a commonality, if you will. Most Barovians stick where they're at. They don't have the same freedoms, if you will.
And I'll go ahead and make a note of all this information. Do they have a name for the wizard?
He's referred to as the Mad Mage.
Oh, that's a great name. Did he have any acquaintances? Any people that he tried to get to rise up against Mr. S?
He does not recall any, no. Besides the army that he kind of conjured, but that was many, many years ago.
Fascinating. Alright, well, I'll make note of this information, and when the party's next all together, I guess I'll let them know.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Alright. You guys are free to move.
We're only making macros, so someone else please go ahead.
Is that all just Royce that had that, or is that? Sorry, I'm sorry. Which? I keep forgetting. Is that? Did any of us hear that conversation, or was that just?
No, just
it was
observer.
Observer.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, cool. Well, I will kind of trying to round everyone up and see if we want to go see this Madame Eva, I think.
Okay.
After hearing from the guy, I'll go ahead and join in.
Oh no, it's God.
Is it? I assume it's morning by now, right?
No, it is. It is 7 p.m. You guys arrived in the afternoon, so you just did your 6 hours sleep, and then you just need to kind of relax, hang out for the next 2, and you'll have a full rest.
As long as we only have light combat for a couple hours.
Yeah, just light sparring,
Yeah.
friendly sparring.
Only a little bit of murder. So everyone else is good to go talk to Madame Eva?
Yep.
Sounds good.
I'll head over to Madame Eva's tent.
Okay.
The one to the left, right?
Yes,
no,
it's
it's the
been
one
pointed
right.
out at this point. It's this one here.
Yeah.
So you guys approach. You leave Arena behind. You guys are all kind of regrouped. You're feeling a lot better after a rest. You've got some food. You got some drink in you. And just a nice little reset after quite the overnight ordeal from the day before. So you're looking at a tent here that looks very, very permanent. It has it's made of like very thick cloth. It's not as bright or nearly as new as everything else kind of around the camp itself. Nothing else really stands out. There is a like flap sort of somewhere on the top of the tent where smoke is being let out, so there is some fire or something presumably inside. And there's really dark, heavy cloth kind of hanging down over the front of the entrance, if you will, to the tent. So you can't see anything inside at this point.
Guess then.
Yeah, I'll walk up and kind of announce us, hello, Madame Eva, we've come to speak with you.
I refuse to do an old woman's voice for the sake of my own sanity and your willingness
Please
to come
try.
back next week as well.
Oh, I want to hear it.
No, you don't. But an old woman responds, and she's going to state, yes, Toto, please, bring in your friends.
So
I
join
go in.
Okay, so we'll kind of move you inside the tent.
Too close.
And then this lovely looking lady is going to now be visible inside. She is incredibly old. I think she has an actual description, but she's wearing, nice clothing overall. She has some jewelry on her. Nothing ornate or overtly flashy, if you will, but she does have a smile on her face as she kind of beckons and then shows you guys to some seats around a larger table near the center of her tent. Inside there's a bed and there's some it's what you'd expect. She seems to live here full time, so all the usual customary things you'd find inside of a home, but also this large table in the center. And you do notice a deck of cards there as well. So she's already at the table. She's mentioned your name, specifically Toto, and she's smiling and she goes, "Please, all of you, take a seat. Femrak Royce, observer. Welcome to my home. Thank you. Take a seat."
I'll take a seat.
I
I'll
will
do the
too.
same.
I'll do this.
She goes, "Many people find themselves in this land, and while I can't answer everything, they typically find their way to me, as I'm known to have certain powers, if you will. Believe them or not, what I say is what I believe to be true, and if you're interested, I can do a fortune telling for you tonight to possibly put your mind at ease, or at least provide some guidance, if you will."
What can you tell us about this land and your people, where we've been told that you are somewhat natives to this land, and this land is removed from the normal realm?
So you find yourself on a plane of existence in what we call Barovia, and this plane is ruled by Strahd, Count, the Great Evil. He has many names, but his name is Strahd, and he's reigned over this land for at least 500 years.
That seems improbable.
For mortal men, yes. However, depending on the story you hear, there's something to have been done where he either signed his soul to an evil deity, or I guess one might argue a good deity, but it would be a difficult thing to argue. And so he's found himself existing for a very long time and possibly immortal. It would also assume, if you don't know, it was most likely a vampire as well.
Ah.
How did we get here?
That I do not know. All I know is that part of the powers that Strahd possesses allows him to pluck toys, if you will, from different realities and sort of see if he can change up his surroundings a bit.
Find that offensive? Not a toy?
Yes. Even one as yourself would, some arguments could be made you're closer to a toy than not.
Hey.
There's nothing positive about it, and please don't shoot the messenger. But Strahd's evil is without bounds, and he tends to find his grasp and exert his will on those that are not even in his domain, and they can play a role in getting people lost or signing people up or bringing people here, or whatever malcontent or whatever reasoning he may have.
So then how are the Vasanti able to move in and out of this place?
We are not under the same curse. Of all the people of this land, the Vasanti are the only ones that can travel through the fog without harm and can come and go as we please. And that has to do with the fact that when Strahd was when he initially came to this land, some favors were done, which I don't know which ones are true and which ones won't, so I'll just skip them. But some favors were done to where he looked at us favorably and allowed that to happen before himself being cursed here as well.
So when you leave through the fog, where do you end up?
It depends. I don't know how to answer that, to be honest with you.
Time for some bullshit.
So we travel on the same roads, if you will, of the ones that got us here and ones that we've established through certain routes. The details of it I can't explain, and you couldn't replicate anyway, so it matters little.
Like a portal to multiple places, essentially.
One could see it like that, but this is quite a lot of questions. I'm a fortune teller, not a information booth, so if there's no further, I would like to see what futures may be in front of all of you.
Do you want to go first?
I can go first. I'll pull back the bear, the crudely sewn together bear helm that I have, and reveal my lack of eyes rather, and just say, I assume you know something about this.
She goes, yes, sight having left you recently, I see turmoil in your history, but your future is very much so one of uniqueness. However, I may have been a bit misleading. I tend to do group readings first and then If I see anything on the cards, I can read individual fortunes as well. So let's start with the group, if that's fine.
Sir, is this thing gonna tell us how we kill Strahd?
It can lead to some help, some allies, some items, and some information for sure. That's usually my goal when I come across people in your situation, is to give some guidance. She goes, the first thing that I can do is this. So she picks up there's 2 decks on the table. She picks up one of them, she puts the other one aside, and she shuffles the deck very efficiently, if you will. It's very quick. It's hard to even watch her motions as she's like fiddling with this. To her, it looks like she's probably, or to you guys, it looks like she's probably just getting ready or doing something that she's done a million times. But if you're watching it intently, it's hard to follow. And for her age and her movement so far, it's sort of out of character, if you will, for how fast and how quickly she's manipulating these cards. So she shuffles, and she sets aside 5. She goes, yes, these seem correct. And she pauses and thinks for a moment. She goes, 5 cards will help you. They will tell you of these things. 1 card tells you of the history. Knowledge of the ancient will better help you understand your enemy. She goes, the next card is a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope, which you will need. The 3rd card is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight. The 4th card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in your battle against the darkness you will find. And the 5th card, your enemy is a creature of darkness whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him. So she's looking down now at this point. All of you are seated around the table. She flips over the first card. Make sure I have these in order. Probably don't.
Can you repeat those or potentially paste them?
I'll post probably all this in chat so you guys have it, so you don't have to worry about it.
Thank you.
So she flips over the card. There's a number 7 on it. There's a glyph next to it. And in the center of the card could be described as a charlatan, if you will. And she goes, yes. The item you seek to better understand your enemy. I see a lonely windmill, if you will, on a precipice. The treasure you seek lies within. She flips over the second card. This one, she says, tells of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope. The number 1 is on the card. There's a set of swords, and then she says, this is the card of the Avenger. The treasure lies in a dragon's house, in hands once clean and now corrupted. She goes, the 3rd card is power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight, something that can be used against your enemy. She flips over a card and it says it's a 9 of stars. She describes a conjurer on the front. She said, I see a dead village drowned by a river, ruled by one who has brought great evil into this world. She flips over the 4th card. She says, this one sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. It is a Queen of Diamonds, and there's a tempter on the front, she explains. She says, I hear a wedding bell, or perhaps a death knell. It calls to thee a mountainside abbey, wherein you will find a woman who is more than the sum of her parts. All through this reading so far, she's been very, very confident in everything that she's done. She's had a lot of confidence in her voice and in her movements. So she flips over the last card. She goes, this card, she's not looking at the card, but she just says, your enemy is a creature of darkness whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him. She looks down and the card is black. Madame Eva looks concerned. She wipes at her forehead and fidgets a bit as if to stall. With amazing speed, she recounts the cards that she holds, and concern seems to cross her face for a brief second. Do any of you want to do anything here specific? Kind of a moment in time here where there's something off, so you can do something if you'd like.
Is the card still on the table?
The card is on the table. The card is black. Madame Eva is kind of fidgeting and kind of counting. She's recounting, and she has a concerned look on her face. This is obviously...
Can I touch the card?
You can try. Anybody else want to do anything?
I think you were doing something that was gonna negate what I do, so that's fine. Go for it.
Okay. So as you reach out, go ahead and roll a dexterity. Well, let me explain it this way. So you reach out, you're about halfway there, and Madame Eva looks up at you with a intense look on her face, and she's going to try and stop you, obviously, from touching the card. You're going to continue trying to touch it?
I'll stop.
Okay.
And I'll say, what's wrong with this card?
She seems to ignore you. She's looking at it for another second or two, and then... Why did I do that? As she's looking down at the table, words then start to appear in red ink, and that changes into white. And then she goes, yes, of course. And then she's reading text now that is being written across the card, and it states, Strahd lurks in the quarters of an elf he long called friend.
He lurks in the corners of an elf?
He lurks in the quarters of an elf that he long called friend. I'm still looking a bit off. She sort of picks up, where she kind of sets aside these cards and goes, yes, very good reading. Maybe a bit unique, but good nonetheless. Now, for individual readings, I'm sure you have questions, but please, when I'm in the focus, let me complete it. She will ask the table if everybody would like to have their fortunes told individually. Anyone say no?
Yes.
So yes.
Good with me.
Okay. She looks at you, Sterling. She smiles. She says your name. She goes, Sterling, and she flips over a card. They seem a bit different.
Who is
Sorry.
this Sterling?
Why did I write Sterling here? Royce, I'm sorry. She goes, Royce. She flips over the same deck of cards, but the imprint or the print on these is completely different from the ones that you've seen in the original 5. On the front of this one depicts a ghost sort of coming up from a grave, if you will. She says, I see flames in your past, flames that a large lake's waters wash away. Near the water is a camp of my people. They may know more of your past, but relief is not a promise made in this land.
Well, I mean, that's for some guy named Sterling. What's my feature?
Fuck off.
Can you repeat the last part again about the people you said by a lake?
Yeah, I'll post all this stuff after.
Okay.
But, I see a flame in your past, flames that a large lake's waters wash away. Near the water is a camp of my people. They may know more of your past, but relief is not a promise made in this land. Vemrak, she looks to you. She smiles again. She flips a card, and on the front is a spear and an all too familiar gate of the death house. And she says, to die once is rare, but twice? Not all questions can be answered, but you can ask the stones at the end of a river which flows east Let me retcon this. Fuck. I thought I reread all this. I'm gonna...
Common to die once.
To die once is rare, but twice. I'm gonna retcon this location, because I realized I'm using the same point of reference too many times. So, his theory, I will adjust that to give you an idea of where it's at. But basically, she says you can ask the stones at the end of a river which flows, and I'll give you a new location. But she says to die once is rare, but twice. Not all questions can be answered, but you can ask the stones at the end of this river. And then Observer, she flips over a card, and it is a depiction of a plant's lifestyle from seedling to dying and becoming fertilizer, basically. And she says, if you seek further druidic knowledge, find the hill. Though evil has taken it, if you truly wish to feel the cycle, then amber is the color you seek.
Can I do an Arcana check on the cards to kind of understand a little bit more about what they are?
Sure. It says privately rolled. Yeah.
Sorry. I rolled an 18.
Sure you did.
I took a screenshot.
You've obviously come across fortune tellers and whatever you want to call these type of, seers or these types in life and in different towns and villages. In terms of just ornately the magical qualities of the cards, they have magical qualities because you've seen them sort of read themselves or type across them. They're not just your average deck. They do seem to be unique in that sense, but other than that, I'm not sure what else you would necessarily know or not know. You take what she's saying as much as you'd like. You've said almost nothing to her, and she's saying what she's saying. So, whether it's the cards or something else, you're not positive, but they do seem to definitely be of a magical origin in some way. There doesn't seem to be an illusion going on. So, is that fair?
Yeah.
Cool. And then for you, Toto, she looks at you and she flips over a card. A golem worm perched on a hill is seen, and she says, running from their destiny, those walking the line of good and evil rarely fall to the good side in Barovia.
I kind of no-sell that one, and just kind of look at her as she says this.
Okay.
With my blank eyes.
Alright, so I should have had this all printed up earlier. There's a lot of info here that I want you guys to kind of read and see, so that's what we're going to do. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to just post all of this, and then you guys have a chance to kind of look over it and then ask any additional questions that you might have. And I just want to make sure that all of this kind of makes sense, and I'll pin this. I'll try and do it in one message. I'll pin it in the Discord as well. So let me work. I didn't even think about that because it's obviously a lot for you guys to all write down on your own. So give me 3 minutes, and then you guys will have all this information. Or you can just discuss whatever has been said already if you are unsure. I can't read that. That's annoying.
Alright.
So we're taking 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pinged you a website, Shatner, that may be useful.
It is loading something.
If you know where in the book it is, you can use the sidebar to find stuff if it's from there.
Oh, gotcha. I already have most of it in a Word document.
Oh, okay.
I just, because most of this I've typed myself, but what I can't just copy and paste it because it has other shit all around it. So I only need to actually like physically type a couple.
Never mind then.
No, thank you though.
If you need box text or anything, this website, as long as it stays online, it tends to move locations now and then.
Cool.
Because I try very diligently to not touch the Curse of Strahd book now.
Alright, it's posted and pinned.
Good job.
You guys can read over that. I will be right back now.
Hello?
Hello?
Just check.
I just posted it and pinned it, and you guys can read over it. And I'm AFK right now, but I'm obviously on the mic. On the mic. I realized that all the bolding and highlighting I did does not matter.
Gotta put it in markdown format. Alright, I am back. So she gives you that reading. There it is in all of its glory. And she kind of starts to collect the cards.
Well, I'd squint and... But I don't know if I can.
What was that?
I said I'd squint, but I don't know if I can.
Oh my gosh. She just says nonchalant, calm as can be, just like, I do not make these fates, these tasks, these happenings, and they don't always come true. I just read what the cards say. Unfortunately, I can be of little use in combat or any help as to where things may or may not be. I will admit I have not left this camp in a very long time. I do find it somewhat of a personal goal of mine to help the poor souls that find themselves in this land that didn't happen to be born here.
So why does Strahd let you help people?
Who's to say that he lets me do anything? That being said, I would be fond of the idea if you did not mention our meeting to him, if you ever were to see him in the future. You beat me to it, but I do not work for anyone. I simply possess powers and do with those powers what I will.
Sounds like we've got some questing to do.
What? I have a couple questions for.
Yeah.
What role do your people play in this realm, knowing that it's essentially just a cage for Strahd to feed off of?
She understands the questions, but she explains the concept of like people are still born here and they didn't choose it. So what Strahd has done is something that's outside of this place was here in a normal reality. It does or did exist outside of any kind of curse or any kind of decisions made by Strahd. So the people that are born here are still born here and have been born here since before Strahd was here. There are families that have lineages before that. So they've just come to find out that they can now no longer leave. The Fasanti function here mostly as merchants and a way for outside goods to come in, and some rare but here and there, exports to go out as well. They, like anyone else, there's many lives being lived at the current moment, and you do with what you have closest to you often. So the Vasanti don't. They travel. She says, like, we travel in groups. We are well defended typically, and at least from the common riffraff, we don't deal with the same struggles of those that are cursed or damned to this place. That's why you won't find us in cities typically, at least in large groups, because we are oftentimes seen in a negative light. But whatever may have been done 4, 5, 6, 7 generations ago doesn't necessarily speak to all of us that live now. And on that same note, she mentions there are plenty of Vasanti that still give us a bad name, and she makes a comment about the Vasanti that owned the bar in Barovia, the village you guys just left, kind of coming off in a way that's not nearly as friendly or welcoming. So we have our enemies and we have our friends, but because we are not cursed to dwell here, we are rarely welcomed with open arms into large groups or anything like that. And we do, yes, historically have a tie to Strahd.
I'm curious about the last card that you told us about. Is there anyone that might match that description that you know of? An older elf in the area?
She looks and goes, you seem to maybe have a short memory.
Oh, the elf was the vampire elf, right?
He lurks in the quarters of an elf he long called friend.
Yeah. Speaking of that elf,
What am I missing here? What is Sisiri missing?
The guy we killed in the
now,
graveyard.
when we killed him, did we stake him as well?
No. I don't believe that you did. The only one that you staked is Duro.
Can a vampire die from staking or light? Usually.
Typically not.
Yeah, traditionally the stake through the heart is the way to make sure it sticks.
So he might still be alive. Oops.
Well, we can add one more evil creature to our list of things to fully put to rest if we see him again.
The way this fate reads, it seems as though he is still currently dead.
Oh,
And
well,
may
that's good.
stay as so.
What was the last thing you just said there?
Um, currently dead and may stay as such.
May stay. Do we need to go back?
Maybe it's on the way.
Well, our next stop is the next town over, I think. Unless we want to double back, but I think we left in a hurry for a reason.
What do you know, Madame Eva? What do you know of the meat pie sisters, the ones who sell that awful drug to the public?
She thinks for a second and goes, yes. I would approach them with a sense of caution. I've not come into contact with... They don't try and sell those things here. We don't have any sort of bargaining chips that they desire, if you know what I mean. However, beyond that, I know of their existence, but little more. And she stops. She goes, I may have heard that they actually dwell rather close. Maybe some kind of structure on your way to Valaki, if I've heard correctly. I don't quite know for sure.
If there's any
Cool.
windmills nearby.
She says, yes. There is talk of one being just outside of this current... Well, not just outside. She says, as you come down the mountain into the valley, when you see Lake Zarovich, she says, there is a fork in the road. I believe a left there will take you to a windmill. If it's the same one in your fate, I know not, but definitely a good place to start.
What was the name of the family of the house with the kids?
The Dursts.
Is that windmill owned by the Durst family?
You guys have a legal ownership paper for a windmill in your possession somewhere.
So I can take the party looted and see it though.
I believe you guys grabbed the deed to the home and the deed to the windmill as well.
I know we had gotten that tapestry or that painting that had the windmill, but hey, also that in-game map that we got from the merchant, how do we access that to see the map itself?
Top of the screen, game map.
Yeah, but there's fog of war all over it.
Yeah, there's this really annoying thing that I haven't looked into yet. There's no way for me to just show anything, which is incredibly annoying. So next session, let me see what you guys can see. So what have you guys talked about? Okay, I'm going to show you the road to Valaki. I have to excuse my movement, I'm dragging this. And then on this map is a very large lake.
Did the guy I was talking about?
Where... Oh no, where did your party token go? Okay, there it is.
Are we not supposed to be able to see the whole map?
Well, the map you guys bought is just a general map, so I don't mind like showing roads, but I don't want to just show the entirety of it because you just don't know exactly what. Here, let me do this.
You need to make another map for us, essentially.
Well, I don't know why it's not. Okay, let me do it this way. Because I don't want to play keeper of the map. Do you guys see any names here?
No, but there's still fog of war right there.
No, that's part of the
Okay.
map.
And then, do you see anything here, like a letter or anything? Okay, I'm just gonna show you the whole map. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think there's any benefit to not seeing everything, or do you think it's more of just an annoyance? Because I don't really care either way. I just initially my mindset was like,
I'm confused as to how we have a map in our possession that just uncovers as we as we walk around.
well, it
Like,
would be something of like what the map shows and what you confirm, kind of. Like but because I forget sometimes that what I see is not what you guys see, so there's not these like clear markers and all this stuff that's like, hey, this and this. So that's fine. Everyone's okay with just having an open map, and then you guys can write on it yourselves, and I think that would be more useful and more helpful. So you guys kind of have something you can actively work on. Fog exploration, unrestricted vision, boom.
cool. Yeah, we can't see any names or anything. It's just
Okay, so you guys are here, and then I think you can place like notes.
And draw, it looks like.
If
But I
you draw,
can't type.
if you
okay,
go,
so you said the road was this way, right? Through.
yes. So Valaki
Here.
is here.
Oh, there we go. So you have to drag it out.
Oh, let's see here.
There is a way to type. Let me see.
I got it.
So I just threw a book over the village of Barovia. Can anybody else see that thing? Or is it just me?
No, I can't. Is that a journal entry?
Yeah, if you go to like the journal entry tab. Oh, it only
Okay,
shows.
I can see it on that tab. Let me see if
Oh,
there's
if
a
you
way
toggle notes
to-
display, that does it. So if you make a journal entry, you drag it onto the map, and then in the little flag icon, it says journal notes, there's a pin.
Oh yeah.
And if you turn it off and on, it lets you see
Okay, that's cool.
other people's notes, I think.
Yeah, so everyone should do that now. On the left, there's a
Did it go
little.
away? No, it went away.
I see it.
What am I doing?
Okay, so over here where I'm pinging, can anybody see a little book icon?
I
Yeah.
do.
But I don't see where you're pinging.
Bottom right, Barovia. On the left, there's a tab that you guys hopefully have called Journal Notes. It's a rectangle with a triangle cut at the bottom.
Toggle notes display.
Toggle Notes display is the purple.
Doesn't seem to do anything.
Not doing
Maybe-
anything for me either.
Probably a permissions thing then.
Yeah, it's just like purple-ish. Clicking on it does nothing. Can you guys see what I wrote above the big lake?
Oh, it does toggle it. It does
Yeah.
toggle it, but I
I see
can't
Mad
see
Wizard.
anything.
Okay, so you can see mine at least. Oh yeah, it does it. Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, if you
the-
hold over it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it does.
New text. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I see Barovia.
Sorry, how do we do this? How do we enter a text?
Journal
Left.
notes tab on the left side, right above the wrench, probably.
Oh, it's 4 buttons down below the drawing tools. Or below the pencil. You can also change the color of the text and stuff. You edit it.
Probably best to do journals, because then you can just add to that journal when new stuff comes up.
Can you guys see the Barovia and Madame Eva camp journal entries?
Yes. Is there any text inside of it or no?
No, I was just testing
Okay.
the way it works.
Yeah, I
don't
can
see
see
anything.
both.
So,
Oh,
This is a test. This is a test.
are there permissions on those journal entries that I just made? I'm just wondering if there's a way to make like player-created journal entries default to permissions of all players can see.
Yeah.
Open Foundry on my computer and see how it works. Come here, Foundry.
What was the name of the first town we were in?
Barovia. Where the hell? Okay, this world.
okay, so can you see my book next to the Mad Wizard?
I can see, yes.
I can't.
Yeah, they're user and GM only right now, which is annoying.
It's like a folder thing. Because when I create a journal entry, I can either make it a no folder or make it in the basic rules.
I'm not sure.
Well, that's
I see. Oh, I have a button that says show to players. Do you guys have that button at the top? If you click on the actual journal entry, like double click open it, at the top in the gray bar there's a show to
No.
players. Okay, so everyone look at Barovia and see if you see it now. All of you. There should be a note folder here. Show to players. Show to players.
A Mad Wizard might be around here.
Or if you,
You can see mine?
I can see yours from the beginning, yeah, but you guys,
No,
Yep.
Sterling just called it out.
Well, it popped up for me. I don't know where it came from. I don't see it
it's in
anywhere.
your
It just
journal. If you go to the top right and click on the like open book, it's probably at the very bottom. I just don't know why you can't see it.
Yeah, I added the Mad Wizard one.
it's not there. I just see basic rules. You're talking about the journal entries thing in the toolbar?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to, for each journal entry, unfortunately, I think you have to set the right-click permissions, which is really annoying.
I see the tag with the Mad Wizard question mark on the map.
Yeah, you can all see those ones. It's just the journal entry ones you can't for some reason.
Is that Ravenloft, by the way? The one I labeled?
Yes.
So if you go to the journals tab at the top right, under
That's weird. Journals would be so nice because we could like timestamp extra info and just add it as we go. But
Hey, I have an idea, Shatner, if you're open to it.
what's up?
Can you go...
I'm AFK. Give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. What's up? You want me to like make a folder or something or make a specific entry folder and then maybe
Yes.
have you guys put them there or something?
maybe make a folder and see if you can separate the permissions on the folder.
Yeah, let me see that.
Yeah, I was mucking about with high-level permissions, but they're a little weird.
Oh shit. So I'll do player notes. Folder color. Go red. Create folder. Oh, right at the top. Whoa. And then configure permissions. Oh. All players owner. Save. So add these to the player notes folder.
Oh.
Save.
I don't think it'll work for new stuff. Oh, we don't have an.
It might. Can you guys see the Barovia note or journal?
I should see if I get it.
No. Adventures on a dime, equipment, getting hurt and resting, playing an adventure.
That's the basic rules, I think.
Yeah, still
On the
see it.
map, nothing here, and you guys all have it turned on the toggle notes display.
Yep. I see my own stuff in the just the words that people put on the map.
Can anybody see the Barovia V2 in player notes?
Nope.
It's annoying. It doesn't make any sense because... Okay, hold on.
You gave us permissions, maybe you have to give it to our players.
Owner. Boom.
Oh, now I can see it.
Fucking stupid.
Okay. Now just move the Mad Wizard might be around your DC at the top of the lake. Do you see that note?
Now I can't see them.
Make yourself an owner as well. Do you guys see this?
No.
Can anybody see my Barovia book?
I do see your book.
So I
see the Barovia book.
Cool.
I
Can you
made
just
that
double-click
when
on
I
it?
made that I made it in the player notes folder.
Try remaking.
Yeah, I see Barovia and Barovia V2. I do not see Mad Wizard.
Okay, let's erase all these. And then just start fresh. I'm gonna erase them.
I'm making one right now.
Hold on, I'm deleting the whole thing.
Now I can't delete my book token.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Oh, now the folder's gone.
Okay. What?
Folder's gone. I think you deleted the folder.
No, it's still here.
I can't see it. Once you deleted the last one, it disappeared.
Alright, now you have it. Unknown. If you just click delete over it, it'll go away.
I tried.
It didn't go away for you?
No. Because I think because the thing was deleted, the link didn't.
I had one called unknown, and then I deleted it. I just pressed actually like delete on the keyboard.
Yeah, all I've
Now
got is.
it's not working. Fine, I'll tinker with it. You guys have any additional questions for Madame Eva?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I want to pull out the orb that I had taken from the House of Death.
Okay.
And tell her about it, and then ask her if she has any thoughts.
She goes, "Ooh, that's interesting. May I see it?"
I'll give it over to her.
So you pull it out and she sees it, and then she kind of like retracts her hands and goes, "Oh, I prefer not to touch things. I don't know their ultimate beginnings." And she kind of studies it from afar. She goes, "I do not know of the power that holds, if any, but you may ask any other powerful magic user you come across to see if they may know more about it."
So no. Okay. Damn.
So we
I guess I could ask and see if she knows where the hill that she mentioned for me would be.
She specifically says to every like reading she says, she's like, that's what she knows. Anything more she would have stated. So you'll have to adventure on your own with those things again. I think
Would
my wife
she-
is on at least this time.
Yeah. Would she know anyone who's well traveled around here that may know about some of these things?
She says Valaki is a large town compared to what you've seen so far, and if you were looking for someone well traveled there, that'd be the best place to look.
Fair enough. Well, you guys ready to go grab our drunk friend and make our way towards the city?
should we wait until daylight maybe? 'Cause it's evening now, right?
Yes, it is 7. Well, let's say it's about 8 p.m.
Do you guys want to stay the night here?
I mean, is there a problem with traveling at night?
I'm assuming if there's vampires, they can come after us at night.
Well, if there's vampires that come at us during the day too. Remember, this place is like super foggy, right? Sunlight doesn't really pierce through clouds.
Would I know if that affects vampires, or could I do a check? Because it.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Would I know if the whole like vampire daylight thing is actually based on the literal sun, or if it's just based on time?
It's based on the literal sun.
Okay.
And while there's coverage, there may be like a partial immunity-ish to it. You still feel like the sun's rays, that energy is still getting through those clouds. So you've yet to see anybody during the day be outside and not be taking any kind of damage, or be uncomfortable at least.
I could hear some little chat in the background.
Yeah, right. She just got home. She's not driving yet. She's still driving him.
Grow up.
I know. Have some goals. Has he been fussy all night? What? No. I don't know. He wants to play D&D.
It's fair. Probably be like a half gnome.
What was that? A half no or a half gnome? What was that?
Half gnome.
Yeah.
Like baby guys, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yes.
So if we're looking at the map, right, we're heading to Valaki, or Valaki. Valaki. We want to hit the windmill on the way there. Is that what part of what we want to do?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I guess I'm just wondering what we want to camp out if we have to, or push through the night into the morning.
How dark is it right now?
In the next half hour, you imagine it will be as dark as it's gonna get.
I guess I can also ask. Fuck, I forgot her name.
Arena?
No, the fortune teller.
Ava? Madame Eva.
Madame Eva. If it's dangerous to traverse during the night here.
She looks at you and almost laughs a bit because it's dangerous to travel at any time, but different creatures can be seen at night, yes, but there's really no safe time to be on these roads.
Yeah,
Madame
so
Eva,
guys,
you-
we can go whatever.
You said that your people are a people of traveling merchants and sometimes possess some interesting goods from the outside and from here. Is there anything interesting you think that we might have to take a look at that might help us on our journey?
She goes, you're very inquisitive, and I can respect that. However, we tend to not keep any, let's say, unique items in Barovia for long, as they don't much sell when they do come up. If you were to check with any Vasanti you see in the future, or ever check back here at some time, I can maybe hold some things for you while you guys are in this realm, if you will. But currently, beyond the typical wares you might find, we do not have anything out of the ordinary. She also makes a note. She goes, I do like this group of you, and so I will let you know that if you ever see a Vasanti selling a potion that keeps you safe from the fog, there is no such thing, no matter how good or bad the price may seem. It's a quite evil thing some of us have come to do to make a quick buck, or to just toy with people we don't much like anymore.
And is there any way to escape the fog to get back to where we came from?
She just looks at you with kind of a blank sort of what's the word? Sort of a grim look, if you will, and she goes, I know that there are souls here that have been drawn here that are no longer here. I just don't know if they've left or they've been killed. I've not heard of any group or person ever successfully leaving, but I doubt that they would come back and tell me.
And how is it that the Vasanti are able to do so freely?
They are not cursed by the fog the same way that everyone else is here.
So, you said the roads aren't...
And
One of you go ahead.
Go for it, Siri.
could you just mark on the map? Madame Eva said that the Meat Pie Sisters lived somewhat close. Can you mark on the map for us, chat, where that is? Because I do want to go there.
She says that she knows of a windmill. She's not exactly sure where they live, but if it's the same windmill that she's heard of, she marks here.
And they live at that windmill?
From what she's heard.
Okay.
Rumor has it.
You mark it on the map because I don't see it. Oh.
Yeah, I put text there. Can you see my
I
text?
see it. Yeah, I can see Meat Pie Sisters.
Sounds like a fucking good band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pie Sisters. Ooh. I'm gonna ask Madame Eva, sorry to keep pestering you, but you said it's not safe to travel on the roads. Do you have any idea what we might find on our way? Either beast or man that might be a threat to us?
Yes, another valid question, and I have plenty of time. I've been doing this for a long time. I don't have all the answers, but traveling during the day, it's common to find a group or maybe a party of people that don't live within one of the few major cities, the nomad types that might try to rob you and kind of live off the grid. It's not uncommon to come across a multitude of either blights or druids. Their presence lately seems to have been on the rise, and I say lately as in the course of the last several decades. I myself am not sure what they're up to, but this land is always changing, even though its borders never move. There are sometimes scouts that you may come across from neighboring villages that may be either friendly or aggressive, depending on how they are treated. There are, of course, Vasanti bandits, Vasanti travelers. We use these roads frequently, but we do have our own sort of roads carved out in certain places that tend to go through the fog. The biggest thing at night is typically going to be wolves, zombies, and if you ever were to come into contact with a berserker, they are quite alarming creatures, to say the least. So I don't have a definite list of things you'll find, but day or night, it can be deadly, to say the least. But we travel these roads, and some of those things could care less if we are of Vasanti blood or not, so we fend them off just the same. But other groups, locals, commoners, and Strahd's beasts tend to leave us alone.
Is there anyone in the camp who might be available for hire to serve as a kind of a guide of these lands, since we're outsiders?
We typically don't sell ourselves for hire. We typically don't. We try not to be so close to what Strahd brings in. I do my business here. Obviously, this camp knows what I do, but aside from a stop by, it's rare that I see a group again. So you'll be hard pressed to convince someone of my kind to actively be in your group, just because we are on Strahd's good side and prefer most situations not to get on his bad side. Even if it comes down to maybe helping locals. So we can oftentimes help, but travel with, very unlikely. Plus, you just simply can't travel like we do, so it can get awkward and inefficient at times.
And before I forget, I don't know how this wasn't the first thing I asked, but you obviously were aware of who we were and our names when we entered your tent. How did you come to know about our party?
The cards tell me things whether I have people in front of me or not, and I typically do readings every day to try and get a feel for the current realm, if you will. So I typically have a reasonable idea of if and when a new group or person has found themselves in this land that was not here before, and so I try and learn as much as I can about them in hopes that they find their way to me and I can possibly make their time here better, or maybe there's an outcome at the end for someone.
Am I remembering this wrong? At the very beginning when we went through the mist, did we see an old lady?
I don't think so.
That does sound familiar.
It's like briefly.
We had a vision of a matriarch woman in a cart flipping tarot cards and said, "When you get here, come talk with me, as we have much to discuss." Very old human, incredibly crone-like, mentioned Strahd, and then she had a symbol on her trinket.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
writing that down. Can't believe I remembered that.
Doesn't sound related.
No,
Yeah.
unrelated. Different person. Ask her where you can find this woman.
Yeah. Can you help us?
So that would allude to the fact that she has powers beyond just simply the cards. So you can keep that knowledge and do with it what you will.
So yeah, it's got some kind of astral projection of some kind.
Maybe she has some kind of control over this land more so than just the card she's holding.
Can I do what check was it again?
Maybe she's Strahd.
Maybe she is.
Be a
And the ultimate, like, fuck you. Just toy with you from the very beginning.
be an insight check to see if she's like trying to mislead us in some way. Like, can I guess her intent?
Sure.
Time for a 1.
How does expertise work? Grim, do you know? If something's double checked, what does that actually mean for the roll?
If it's
never mind.
on the
It gives
character sheet, right? It
additional-
should just.
Yeah, it gives it additional pluses. Why did I roll insight? I meant to roll. She seems to be telling the truth, but she's also a very mystical woman, if you will. There's definitely things that she's said, and she's chosen her words wisely. In terms of the power she possesses, or the maybe the knowledge she has, you get the feeling there's obviously more to her. But in terms of the knowledge she's giving you and the tasks or the help, if you will, that part does seem genuine.
And can I tell, like, am I sure that she's human?
You're very confident that she is human.
Fair enough. Well, do you guys have any other questions, or should we decide if we're gonna?
Yeah, last question for Madame Eva here. When we first arrived in Barovia, we were advised to seek you out for further guidance. Is there anyone you would recommend that we seek out to further bolster our defenses or better our chances at defeating Strahd?
She says, the best knowledge I have is what the cards give. Friend or foe is difficult to determine in this land, as it oftentimes has more to do with your introduction as opposed to a person's state of mind, if you will. I would say that while you're here, trust is a difficult, or should be a thing that is rarely fully done, and never judge someone purely by their outward appearance. There are those here that may come off as unsightly or even unholy at times, and might be able to help you. She also mentions that townsfolk around here are oftentimes timid of travelers, but Valaki is a bit different, as it's much larger and more secure overall. So don't forget that your average townfolk hears a lot of things. Whether or not they're true, you may have to find out for yourself, but there can be a lot of knowledge gained by making friends in town, whether that be someone that seems important or just someone on the street.
Thank you for that.
Yep, she has collected up her cards. She looks, happy overall. She wishes all of you well, and she kind of says, "I will continue reading to see what any advancement you guys make, and I do hope the best for you. I don't wish to know the odds or know the odds of your types being free of this place, but at least I give hope. And she says specifically the powerful item or the weapon that you get, she sees as being of extreme power versus the foe that you are going to fight. So she also mentions do not rush to Castle Ravenloft. Feel prepared as much as you can with all of the tasks that she has read before feeling the need to go there and try and rid Strahd of this land or kill him finally. Yes. No. Alright. So you guys are all going to head out. And are you guys going to just kind of hang out here until the morning, or do you guys need to travel tonight?
I think we should travel during the day.
Is that a consensus enough for everybody?
For me, I can see better in the day anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Anybody want to do anything specifically tonight? I prefer to not dwindle anymore on the Vasanti campfire.
No, I'll just listen around.
Okay. No new stories. Anything that's being said now is much more slurred than it originally was. Unless otherwise noted here, all of you guys get your full rest and some. There is still a lot of drinking by about, we'll say like, Arena sleeps for about 10 hours. So she is awake at, I don't know, like 1 or 2. She, without any issue, gets up, grabs another drink, and is still kind of talking to the Vasanti that are local. She does at some point in the night, as the party starts to, maybe for the first time, really sort of slow down, she meanders over to the group wherever you guys happen to be, and she looks up from her drink. She's not really, doesn't seem to be drinking to get fucked up at this point, but she definitely doesn't want to be sober. And she just simply states, like, I hope the Vasanti woman could help you or us in your tasks, or give you something to work towards, but do we have an idea of where we're going next? I would like to go to Valaki if possible, but I know that I'm in a group now, so, and I feel safe with you overall. So where are we headed?
We're gonna head towards the nearby windmill along the way to Valaki, so we can check it out.
Yes, sure. Sounds good to me. I'll make sure to get as much to drink here as I can before we head out. So, as the night goes on, there are those additional Vasanti that were sleeping in their individual wagons. They do wake up and kind of join, and it seems like a night shift, kind of day shift, so there's kind of always someone awake. They do seem to be maybe a little better, like they're in better physical shape, or they have a bit more finesse to them. They seem to be maybe of like higher rank, or possibly of higher strength than the average group that's been here, but not to an extreme sense. And then, anybody have an issue with just kind of getting to 7 a.m.? Morning's coming.
Nope. Let's go.
Okay.
Just do the standard foraging for supplies.
Cool.
Thorns and shit.
So you guys are on the road in the morning.
So wait,
Yes.
did we technically take another rest, or like another long rest?
You just have one full rest. I mean, it shouldn't.
We're fully rested.
Yeah, it shouldn't
Okay, like what I'm asking is, Because it was nighttime, right? Now we're just fast forwarding until 7 a.m.
Yes.
Okay, because I had no spell slot, so I would like to make some good berries and then rest to recover that spell slot. Is
Okay.
that
Yeah, for sure.
okay?
Yeah, that's totally fine. You guys have been sitting for a while. Here's a direct line of...
All right, and then
So
I'll hand some out to the group. So like, I'll give everybody 2.
Okay.
With these, can you post it?
Yeah.
If we're looking at the game map, by the way, I think we should go west and try to avoid going, obviously, through the lands closest to Ravenloft. I think we should follow like this river to the west, because there might be a chance that.
I do want to note something right away. These hash marks are elevation. So if you notice over here at Barovia, there's none.
How do I post it?
So like a die or something. It's an item, right? Ah, there we go.
These roads are not the only way to travel, but the reason that they're here and the reason they are switchbacked is because a lot of this is mountainous.
Is that yellow line kind of what you're proposing?
Yeah, this is a waterfall. So you'd be at the bottom of it here. So you'd have to adjust this way at least.
Could we just cross the bridge on the other side?
I would rather not go through the lands close to Ravenloft. I know it's close and probably more convenient, but I think the further away from Strahd's gaze, the better for us right now.
Sure, he knows where we are at this point. But how thick is that river? Like, how treacherous would it be to cross that?
Don't know until you get there. From the
So
side
can
of
we
the map
judge?
in comparison, like this
Fair,
river
yes.
down here is swimmable. And it's similar width up here, but swimmable would be a key word to that. You're going to be wet. You're going to be in it, assuming it's not dramatically deeper or dramatically faster.
Because I'm thinking if my orienteering skills are right, these are kind of the two paths that make sense.
Yeah.
So it's either road or take our chances with the river and the waterfall.
I would rather take the road personally.
Okay, let's take the road.
Okay. So there is, yes, a shortcut here. This is like a cart path type thing that you kind of entered on. There are some things to read here. So as you get to the bridge, and I am going to change the music as we're on the road now. It's not perfect, but it's better than guitars. So you follow the river. Oh wait, let me see here. Kieran is following a path. Yeah. So you follow the river to the base of a canyon, at the far end of which is a great waterfall that spills into a pool. Billowing clouds come forth of cold mist. A great stone bridge spans the canyon nearby, 1,000 feet overhead.
Oh. Some verticality there.
Yes.
So that
a lot of
river
it.
is actually 1,000 feet below the rest of the land.
So all of this, so from this point here, you start basically climbing into a mountain. So you're at the bottom of it here, and then this bridge is 1,000 feet up from where you are. So you're at the bottom currently, if you guys are right here. And then there's switchbacks here to get up to that bridge, but it's 1,000 feet up. And then that's what I mean. So in general, this land here, so this trail here is like 1,000 feet. But if you were to go like over here, you're getting even higher. If you go here, even higher. And then you don't start to degrade until you get into like the valley coming up. So this area over here, for example, is, you know, this is higher, 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 higher. This is the peak of a mountain. Or here is, I should say. So this is a lot of very mountainous overall in this area. So mountain peak, and mountain peak, top right.
So do we want to do the switchbacks and go over the bridge? Is that a group consensus?
Yeah, I mean, I think climbing the mountains is a way to get us in even more trouble than we might find elsewhere.
Oh, this is just to get to the bridge, basically. This is like a simple path, kind of back and forth, that is just taken maybe from this direction, but rarely taken from the bridge down. So you can pretty much see where you're going up to the path above. So just to get from where you are to the bridge level doesn't seem to be treacherous per se. There wouldn't be any rolls to do it.
So let's go to the bridge and then keep going.
Okay.
Now, when we cross the bridge, do we want to continue across the road, or do we want to take a left?
That's what you guys were discussing earlier. So.
Well, no, we were discussing turning left.
Oh,
bridge,
you mean
turning after.
No, so like this area
Going, like,
right here.
Yes.
Like, is that cliff
Yeah.
faces basically?
What was that?
So the blue line that he just drew, is that basically cliff faces falling down to the river?
Yes, because this river up until this waterfall is 1,000 feet below the bridge still. And then once you're here, you're on similar footing to the height of the bridge plus some. So it's continuing to rise.
Waterfall is going right, not left.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, from the mountain, down the mountain, basically. So flowing
so
down
it'd be
into
really
the
hard
marshes
to
down
climb
here.
up either way.
If you guys are trying to go somewhere, you don't have like a wagon or a horse. But I just want to make a note of the verticality of this map in a lot of places. It's not just like take a straight line somewhere. These roads look so awkward because you guys do see the general red line, right? Or no?
Well, the red line is the path we've taken.
That's all the red line you see?
Yeah, that's the only red line we've got right now.
That's a fucking yikes. You guys did a great job of keeping track of where you were already. So, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that there's not... what color should I make this? So, this general road goes here, goes here, goes here. I can draw more when we get there, but that's the way the map says is a road.
Then we should probably just go across the road. If you have any issues with that,
Do we just want to get to that, close to that gate, and then scope it out to see if there's anything weird there? That's my only main concern with the road right now. If there is a gate there.
So as we're moving, I want to be very vigilant about checking for anything that looks out of place or that might be watching us or
Okay, roll me a perception check, and if it's higher than your passive, then I'll use that. All of you can do that if you'd like.
Is that a skill check?
It should be. And
Did I roll that as party? Is there a way that I do that individually?
Roll it off your
That's right.
character sheet, it'll work.
oh yeah,
My-
you rolled a 17, so you're fine.
Yeah,
either
my
way.
passive is 17.
Yeah, you're above. You're probably plus 2 or 3 to that.
Did you say roll perception or just have our perception, our passive perception?
Roll. All right, so I'll take a number from those, and if it's, I'll use that for any kind of. You guys don't have to. While we're traveling for this session, I'll use those rolls if they're above or below passives to equate to anything being seen or startling. So, you guys, someone take control of that token and just move. You can move like 2 spaces at a time. I'll tell you to stop if I need you to.
Somebody wants to do token, I'll just draw the map line just so we have it.
Okay, we cross the bridge,
Okay.
come up to this bend in the road.
Yep. Mountains on either side. Fog is encroaching as you guys kind of appear through this area. It's getting pretty hard to see anything except just, I mean, mostly because of the mountains, but it's just whatever's in front, whatever's in back. So go ahead.
Okay, we'll continue again.
Okay, you can continue up to the crossroads without any issue. So it says, even here in the mountains, the forest and fog are inescapable. Ahead, the dirt road splits in two, widening towards the east. There you see patches of cobblestone suggesting that the eastern branch was once an important thoroughfare.
And to the west,
To the west, it says nothing, but you again see gates similar to the gates that you saw back here at the very beginning. Another set of these sort of, I can go find that photo if you want. They're not exactly the same, but another set of like large gates with, let me find a good photo. Typically there's some pretty good art for these. Yeah, gates. This was the original that I posted. So
I'm sorry. Maybe it's too late to ask this. I meant to ask the fortune teller lady where the camp of her friends was near the water.
she's not exactly sure. So anything she gives you that and like her telling in that sense is what you're going to have to kind of just do some work to figure out exactly where it's at. She just sees that there's a camp of them. Exactly where it's at, she's not sure.
Okay.
You're going to beat me to it. So from this perspective, you would be approaching from the other side, whereas these large statues would be imposing outwards towards the west. So you're kind of like leaving in a way, whereas when you first entered this area, you were entering.
So we've been here.
No, it's a similar set of gates to the original gates from like session 1 or session 2. Yeah.
Are there any guards or creatures or anything that we
Seems
can see at the
just
gates?
as abandoned as you. It just seems just as abandoned as the one before. This one does seem more traveled overall. You get the idea that there's quite a lot of travel across this, the fork here and the gate itself, but there's almost nothing to the east in general, like towards Ravenloft. But no, in terms of, aside from like the occasional like scrap or trash or sort of like abandoned cart, there's nothing of any sort of existence that you can see.
Remember, everybody has 2 good berries now too. Is there an easy way to add that to the inventory?
Yeah, so I just spent some time now. Oh, that just delete.
just remember they only are
Okay,
active for 24
okay.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to go to the party, you can just drag it into your loot. I made one from the party loot. I took a scroll and I just customized it to make it into a consumable item. So you can just grab it and then... Go ahead.
Grab the spell and move it into my inventory, is that what you're saying?
No, I made a party consumable that is just Goodberry 0. And so you could drag it into your own inventory as a consumable item.
Okay.
It'll make a copy. They just change the quantity to 2. So that's how many gave all
Well,
of us.
I get 4, but you guys
Yeah,
get
okay.
2.
That's fair.
Can
That
be
way you can just generate it for yourself.
keeping good
Thank
berries
you.
later, man. Well, should we push on towards the windmill?
What's the easy way to copy? Send to player or what?
Just drag
Just
it
drag it
from
to my
the
inventory.
part of your character sheet.
Can we keep going?
Yep.
We pass through the gate.
Yes, you're fine. I will stop you, however, right here at the start of this forest, and I will move us over to our new friendly map. You guys should be daytime. You don't have unrestricted vision, though. Can you see all the way across?
Nope.
No, looks like you can't.
Turn off.
I'll just turn on unrestricted vision. Why did that not work? There we go. This should work.
And turn off fog of war.
I did. It's odd. Token vision unrestricted. Daylight. Daytime.
I think that did it.
Yes. Okay. So yes, you do see this creature here. I have not measured this. I am fine with that. So give me one moment. Which way do I need to go? I was on the right page and then I moved. Just staring right at you this whole time. My god, what a troll. That's funny. Okay, a figure walks along with a stride and bearing. With the stride and bearing of one who knows no fear. Clad in rusty armor, it clutches a gleaming longsword in its pale hand and looks ready for a fight. At this moment, you guys would assume you've not been seen, but it's hard to tell. The creature is heading towards you at a, I'd say, slower than average pace, kind of just sauntering through the woods here. Doesn't seem to be in too much of a hurry.
Okay, I'll just move to the front of the group and ready my great axe, just preparing.
Okay.
I'll come up by Vemrak.
Is there how high up are these rocks?
We'll say these are, everything here is a bit lower than it was initially. We'll say this rock here is about 7 feet high at its highest point, and these rocks over here are about the same.
Okay, I'll hop up on this one.
Okay.
How do I move myself?
You have to just get back to the token control screen, top left, click on the person, and then you're probably on the journal one still or something else. Arena's going to kind of like walk up and be like, do we know what that thing is?
I doubt it's good.
Do I recognize the creature?
You don't immediately. It looks... no. It is going to get closer by a small portion. Is that fine? You guys don't really see much other than its armor and its weapon and its kind of just general demeanor.
And it's
So
walking with the sword unsheathed.
But yeah, it's like, it's a mix of like dragging it and then like picking it up and kind of dragging it. It switches positions to the other hand. It's a long sword, and it doesn't seem to be a huge burden overall to the creature, but it seems kind of lazily being moved, if you will.
If it gets within
I'll-
120 feet.
Go ahead, observe.
I was gonna say, if it gets within 120 feet, cast Chill Touch on it.
Should we talk to it first? Or attempt to, at least?
Does that thing look like it's gonna be?
Does it look human?
Humanoid, yes. But I wanted to get a little bit closer, especially for those that can see that far, before it's...
Okay. So
I'll get
Royce-
it here and continue to move up.
I'll tell Royce to ready an arrow. And
Yeah, what's my range? How do I find out what my range is?
Your longbow should be 120 feet, I believe. It should be on the weapons.
Okay. Yeah, I'm strung arrow ready to go.
Oh,
says
you're
a-
actually 150 to 600?
So 150 is
slash?
the close. The 600 is long.
Oh my god, that's
Longbows are
insane.
nuts.
Dude.
So
I'm going to tell Arena to get off the road, like to the side, and tell Toto to stand in front.
Okay,
And-
Arena's gonna kind of go by this rock kind of behind Royce, but she has her
I'll
sword.
call out to the group and ask if we wanted to get any closer.
I was
Or you want me in front of Arena or in front of you?
in front of Arena. I was going to approach and try to talk to him and then tell the group to take action if he becomes hostile.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. So it's
So
gonna
I'll
move
get
up.
about here and I'll try to appear as non-threatening as possible. And
How are you going to do that?
I'm going to make myself visible.
He's gonna bat his eyelashes.
I'm going to have my axe at my side and just call out, "Ahoy, traveler, are you lost as well?"
So the figure will react to the speaking by sort of like stopping and then kind of looking up now fully, maybe for the first time in a while. And it's gonna sort of stick its sword in the ground in front of it and then just kind of stop moving and just kind of look out towards you, kind of studying you as you've been studying it.
Okay, I'll kind of mimic what it does with my axe, put my axe in front of me into the ground and just stand my ground and see what it does.
Okay. No change over the course of, let's say, like 10 seconds. It just kind of stands there.
Okay.
So I'm
I'll
wondering.
call out again. Traveler, are you well?
No change. It does seem to be reacting to the, like, it seems to be hearing you, just not responding either because it can't or won't.
Can I do any sort of check to try and figure out what it is?
Sure. Why don't you do a... Should do a... We could do a medicine check. Because that's higher for you. If you had to put your money on it, you would say that it's undead. Not necessarily trying to hide that fact, but not acting in the general undead sense, if you will. It's reacting to speech and seems to be thinking a bit more on it of its own accord than the traditional mindless zombie that you've seen.
I'm gonna step up to Vemrick and say, if it's got armor, I'm assuming it's either a guard or maybe it's some sort of revenant, but I have no idea until it starts acting.
So can I do
or what?
A guard or a revenant. If it's a guard, I'm worried. If it's a revenant, it may be an ally in disguise, depending on why it died.
Can I do like a wisdom check on it to try to gain any kind of information? It's a favorite enemy for me.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So
Undead is a favorite enemy.
Yeah,
Let me check what favorite enemy.
it just gives me advantage.
Okay.
What a wisdom check. Here we go.
Go ahead and roll. Actually, roll an. Well, that was super high, but for next time, and we'll roll it now just to see. Roll an intelligence check with advantage, because that's what you would actually get to recall knowledge about. Perfect. So you confirm it is a revenant.
Okay, and I will parrot that back to the group.
Okay. And then it seems from your perspective and from your vantage point, Royce, all the undead that you've shot at in your life, it's definitely acting more neutral, I guess you could say, than your typical undead. However, its true intentions you can't necessarily surmise from
Okay.
a check.
Can I don't want to
when
metagame, but can I, like, given my guy's background, explain quickly what a Revenant is?
Yeah, basically, you would just kind of like whisper, kind of mention to the group so they can all hear it. Is effectively a revenant is a creature that is now an undead that was killed in the action of trying to accomplish a goal, and is for whatever reason, for any number of reasons, is sort of cursed to haunt an area to either continue its goal or try to achieve its goal. And typically they have features along the lines of like regeneration, rejuvenation. They're typically immune to undead type effects, and they are sort of like on their own solo mission oftentimes. If they're not killed in a certain way too, they can just kind of come back as their soul will linger and then take the form of another creature that's near it. So you don't know if this revenant was this original body. It could be an original revenant. That thing you're not sure. You are sure it's a revenant though.
Could this do Revenant's guard something of importance, Toto?
It's always.
They might.
Oh,
I mean, it's typically they're not on guard duty unless they've failed at that. It's oftentimes they've failed at something, and then
they have a goal.
They have a goal or a task in undeath.
Yeah, like they died having not accomplished something, and that urge to accomplish it was so strong that they were just like, nah, I'm not dead yet.
Yes.
So they can sometimes be reasoned with. Or, like, yeah. They're just the armor, the sword, the behavior makes me think we might not have to kill this thing, and it might not want to attack us if we can figure out what to do.
Okay. Should we approach and try to communicate with it, Toto?
We can try. I'll look to Royce and Observer. Do you want to, and Arena, and do you guys want to kind of watch over us while we try to figure out if we can get past this thing?
Sounds like an unholy beast. I think we should just end it here.
You would note that it would not be a permanent end, most likely. Just as it has been confirmed it's a revenant, and unless that task is completed, it's most likely just absorb into something else in the next day or 3.
Yeah, this is one of the few undead I know of where we might be able to actually resolve it without killing it. But we'd have to figure out what its goal is and make sure we're not standing in the way of it.
Is there any way to communicate with Undead Toto?
They typically speak the language that they spoke in life.
Yeah, we just gotta try and figure out how to talk to it. Because it looks humanoid, so assuming it is a person.
So let's make the attempt.
So we'll move up. You guys watch our back.
Yep.
Hello, friend.
Its mouth moves. It seems like it's saying something, but it's inaudible from this distance. It does seem to be some type of common muttering, if you will.
I'll try to get within earshot. And just say, can you say that again?
In the same sort of hushed tone, you're not sure if it's on purpose or just the body that it's in, but there's a very dry, sort of raspy, difficult sense to every word that's spoken as you now hear clearly for the first time, who do you serve?
And I'll hold up my shield, and which has the symbol of Torm on it, and say, I serve Torm, and we're trying to find a way out of this place. Who do you serve?
I care not for gods that do not show themselves here. Whose side are you on in this land?
Not the devil's.
It peeks at the devil and says, which devil do you speak of?
We do not serve Strahd.
If that is the case, why do you bear what I seem to sense as items belonging to him? Vemrak, you get the kind of shock of like he's possibly referring to the orb from the death house that was perched atop a statue of Strahd. Well, Strahd's statue was holding it.
Well, I myself am a mercenary and take pleasure in the spoils of war of those who I've bested in battle. So I may acquire trinkets or weapons or even armor along the way of those who I defeat.
In the same struggling, sort of almost like clogged voice, he says, give me the item you have, and I will pass. I assure you, you can do no good with it. It would only bring you harm. I do not wish to fight those that wish to fight Strahd.
Can you tell us what the orb is?
He says, I do not know. I only know where it comes from, and those things must be destroyed.
Is that why you're still bound here?
It is not the main reason I am bound here, but I find that my duties and my ultimate goal here have to do with ending Strahd, and so in doing so, I try to take things away from him that might find them in his grasps later, and I assure you I have means of destroying them that you may not have access to. He's referring to the orb itself, if that was unclear.
I'll just look to Vemrak and kind of shrug. Sorry.
We are still trying to learn about this foe before facing him, and I think we have many days or weeks ahead of us to do so. And we're hoping that this orb might be of something that can help us defeat him.
I assure you that the orb can be of no use. I have been in this land for centuries, And if it is anything close to the other orbs I have come into contact with, it is something that the devil is either listening to constantly or trying to woo the mind over whoever possesses it. I am not trying to rob you. I am not trying to steal from you. I am trying to take a burden.
I'm just trying to figure out, is he
I mean, he
being
sounds
truthful?
convincing.
Yeah.
And what proof can you show me of this, of the power of this orb? We've just met. How am I to trust you?
What proof can you show me of how you acquired it? How do I know that you do not have bad intentions with it?
Well, my friend, I think we would have engaged in battle if my intentions were poor.
That can also be said of myself. So you've answered your own question. I do not wish to fight you, and I understand that I will most likely be bested. I also do not wish to possess another creature in this land. I wish to bring it as much good fortune as possible. That being said, I know what I look like and I know what I am. I will take the road directly north of this location and skip the rest of your party if you'll let me leave. You may keep your ord, but I warn against you keeping it near where you sleep and wear on your person at all times. I do not know of its direct intentions, but I would be wary of trying to find out what it is.
And what is your other mission while you're tied to this realm?
My main mission I wish to keep to myself, as it simply does not involve your group. But I am afraid I will be here for a place you can visit that my kind were from. And he's like, I can mark a map if you have one.
I guess I'll assume I have a map.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to find it. I want to make sure before I point it on the map it's the right spot. I have the Curse of Strahd physical map actually posted in my room. It's very nice. I can always look up and check.
So Vemrak, I'm just gonna kind of look at you and I'm just gonna gesture that I'm gonna walk over there, but like.
So one of you will approach.
Yep, I'll walk up, and as I walk up, I'll say, "What were you called in life?"
I do not remember. I do not know my name. I simply know where I was from and the task that I must complete.
Well, I'm Toto.
Nice to meet you, Toto. I wish the best of your party. I do. Please talk some sense into your orc friend here. I understand his unwillingness to give up an item that he has acquired in battle, but I fear that it may be of great evil that is unknown at this point. And if you guys go to the map, one of you wants to draw it, he'll point out this location here.
Got it, Vemrak?
Where is it? I'm looking on the map.
Right here. It's kind of in the...
I see it.
Yep. He says, speak to Vladimir, the leader of those that reside there. You can let him know you've met me, but there are most likely many of my kind out, and I do not know how many are left or how many have completed their task. So, am I free to leave, or must we draw blood here?
I don't think we need to draw blood, but do you have a name now?
I have
Every second.
found no reason to name myself. It does
I'll
not
just-
further my task, and I honestly don't talk to most random groups I come across. They hide or they attack on sight, so I do appreciate the willingness to search a potential enemy like your group has. It shows a bit of a difference from what I come across in Barovia at most times.
How close do you need to be to such an object to sense it's on one's person?
Are you asking me in general?
I'm asking in character.
How close do you need to be to sense an item on one person? I do not know for a fact. I simply knew that I felt the presence of Strahd as you approached.
And I'll come back by Vemrak and be like, it's part of his mission. That could make sense.
But how do we know he's telling the truth? He could take we have no idea what the orb can do. He could take it and turn on us. Are you willing to take that risk?
I guess circumstantially it seems... I'm inclined to trust him based on what he is and what he's saying. I can't guarantee it, but if he thinks that orb is bad news and we found it on a statue of Strahd, then he can sense it from afar. If he is a revenant like we think, I'm assuming it's tied to his mission in some way, and that's his only goal.
He did say it's not specifically tied to his mission, but he stated that he's come across other tokens or trinkets of Strahd and has sort of destroyed them along the way as it doesn't hurt his mission. But he never said that
Fair. Yeah.
orb or the orbs. Okay, I just want to make sure it was clear.
I guess because my assumption is that, like, revenants generally, they're really only focused on doing whatever accomplishes their goal.
One thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, like, my
It
understanding...
just depends on how broad
Yeah.
that goal might be.
Like, I'm not trying to metagame, but it's like
I know.
revenants.
I just
like,
wanted to make sure that you didn't, because sometimes there's
Yeah.
just misunderstandings. I want to make sure that you didn't think
but like
that.
Toto, knowing what Toto knows of revenants, would be like, well, if they're not attacking you and they're telling you something, they're probably doing it because they believe it, not because they're trying to be shitheads to you. But I could also be very, very wrong.
My holy friend here is trying to be persistent about me giving you the orb. Tell me, if I give you the orb, what are your means of destroying it?
I know some in undeath, if you will, that possess what I hope to be strong enough power to destroy many of the other items I've come across in my hunting, if you will. And I seek to see all of these accursed items destroyed. I prefer not to tell you where he is or who he is, as, again, we have just met on a road in Barovia. However, I just wanted to warn you of it, as I sensed its presence on you. I assure you that I will do what I can to destroy it, and if I cannot, I will throw it off of the highest cliff furthest part away from this accursed valley that I can get.
Sorry, he said he knows someone who's undead as well that
He
might
knows
possess.
someone in undeath. So basically, he's met someone or come across someone that has been willing to help him destroy items.
While I understand your weariness to trust someone as gaunt as me, this person, if they possess such powers, they could be useful in defeating Strahd. If I were to give you the orb, would you be willing to introduce us, or at least give us a location where we can potentially meet this individual and try to learn what we can?
I am certain of few things, but in his voice now, as he's talked, what you can assume has probably been more than he's talked in a day in a very long time, at least in this body, getting kind of harder and harder for him to speak as he's pushing out kind of every word through this throat that he currently has. I'm certain of very few things. However, I am positive that while I appreciate the trust and conversation we've had in this maybe fate chance of meeting, I cannot under any circumstances introduce you to the person that I have come into contact with. He, as myself, is on a similar quest, if you will, or goal, although one that's not accursed in the Revenant sense of trying to complete tasks here in Barovia as well, and requires the utmost secrecy in doing so. I offered simply out of concern, and I know that is hard to hear in a place like this, but I've also offered that you can keep it. I would just say that you do not sleep with it and you do not keep it on your person at all times. Beyond this, I can offer most likely no further guarantees or help in the matter.
I'm not one for surrendering a item I've won in battle, but I do think Toto possesses a much higher intelligence than myself, so I'll give him the orb.
Okay. He doesn't, he kind of steps back as you approach. He goes, please, just throw it on the ground. I will wrap it in a cloth that I have here. I do not wish to fully embrace it, as I've warned you of such things as I have. Do you do that?
I'll look back at Toto for confirmation.
You have no issue with that, Toto.
I'll shrug, like...
Alright, I'll throw it on the ground.
Okay. At this point now, you're nearest him that you guys have been. He smells undead, that just stench of like kind of rotting and kind of festering flesh is there, but he doesn't look like the just fully decomposing zombie that you've seen at times. So you also are right next to his sword, which he is kind of backed away from. So he does seem to be very non-aggressive here, and you can tell that the sword is very well aged and has some marks on the side. Being a bit of a weapon connoisseur as yourself, Imrak, you can tell that this is not being taken good care of, or maybe wasn't in the life that it had before. So he does reach down and he steps forward and grabs the orb, and then he looks to the two of you and kind of looks back at the party that he presumably has seen this entire time and says, I wish you the best, and if I must still be accursed to this land, it's possible that we meet again in the future. By that time, maybe I will have found a name for myself. And then he starts to walk up towards the rock if you guys don't stop him.
No, I don't stop him.
Okay. If there are no further interactions with him, he will leave. And I will bring us back to the game map. So from here until the crossroads at the windmill, there are no further issues. Do you guys want to do anything specific during that time? No? So
I'll just say, Vemrak, thanks for having faith. Hopefully it pans out.
There are bright flashes in the distant woods behind you. You hear the crackle of power as lightning. Fire bursts from the sky.
Do it. No,
Do it.
I'm assuming I'm assuming we're about to launch into a whole thing, and I probably have to crash because I gotta take
That's
my
what I
kids down
figured. It's
early.
later than our usual, but I do want to just read and then post this next area here very, very quickly. All right, so as you kind of hit the peak of elevation at this part here, kind of right after that small forest, and you sort of start to go back down the other side of this mountain now. It says the old Svalich Road transitions from being a winding path through the Balanuk Mountains into a lazy trail that hugs the mountainside as it descends into a fog-filled valley. In the heart of the valley before you, you see a walled town near the shores of a giant mountain lake, its waters dark and still. A branch in the road leads west to a promontory, atop which is perched a dilapidated stone windmill, its warped wooden vanes stripped bare. I will post this. God, I can't post this. I hate when they have the name of it in the picture post. Does this one do it as well? Oh my god, that's a YouTube video. Maybe this. Oh man. Fuck it. Whatever. Copy, paste. Don't read the URL. So kind of perched up on this little hill, if you will, as it descends behind, you see a windmill that is all but familiar from a very, very not fun place that you guys have visited in the past. I will assume you guys do get closer, and I'll read this next text, and then we can close it up here. So as you guys sort of move down this now individual road, just approaching this windmill, it says, the onion-domed edifice leans forward and to one side as though trying to turn away from the stormy gray sky. You see gray brick walls and dirt-covered windows on the upper floors. A decrepit wood platform encircles the windmill above a flimsy doorway leading into the building's interior. Perched on a wooden beam above the door is a raven. It hops about and squawks at you, seemingly agitated. And we will call it there. Oh, let's make some notes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Shatner.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.